Welcome back, everyone, to yet another episode of Atomic Ambition, the podcast. The podcast that is all about self-help, self-improvement books. And followers of this podcast will know that I am passionate about learning about self-improvement. And this week, I have been reading this book, How to Make People Do What You Want. How to Make People Do What You Want, written by this guy, James Williams. Okay, now... I don't think James Williams, I believe he's an American. I don't think he is a very well-known author. And I'm guessing that this is a self-published book. Like, you can publish books on Amazon. I think this is a self-published book. Doesn't make it any less valuable. It's just loads of people loads of people now can publish books. And if you have something to say, a great way to get your message out is to publish books. Is to publish a book, maybe 2 books. I'll be honest with you, it's something I've been sort of toying with and thinking about for quite a few months, so for quite some time. I do hope one day that I'll get myself. It'll only be a self-published book, Amazon, KDP, but one day I hope I'll be able to get enough material together, something that's good enough that I can publish a book and be proud of it on Amazon. So anyway, this book, the title intrigued me, How to Make People Do What You Want. Methods of Subtle Psychology to Read People, Persuade and Influence Human Behaviour. I suppose that the first thing you have to sort of think about is there is a difference between influence and manipulation. Manipulating people is obviously a bad thing. If you are manipulating somebody, you're never gonna win that person's trust. You might influence them or manipulate them in the short term, but you're never gonna build long-term connections with anybody. No matter what you do, if you are manipulative and manipulating people, you are not going to build long-term connections. So I wanted to point that out because this book's title screams out manipulate people, but it's not really. It's really about the art of influence, and that's what I'm all about, the art of influence, in terms of being a better communicator. So why that book? Well, first of all, why that book? The title, How to Make People Do What You Want. Who wouldn't want to have that magical skill? It'd be amazing if you just said to somebody, do this, and they did it. Yeah, never works for me. I can't even make my dog do what I want my dog to do unless there is food involved. But then that is a good example of, I wouldn't say manipulation, I would say that's influence, because I'm offering my dog something that I know he wants in return for doing something that I want. I don't think that's manipulated. That's kind of influence over your dog. Some people would call it training your dog, but I know that if my dog wants this thing, whether it's a small piece of food that I'm offering or even a toy, I know that my dog will pay very close attention to me and be influenced by what I want him to do. Okay. Anyway, yeah, so how to make people do what you want. Now, this book is full of good ideas. Lots of the ideas have been sort of rehashed or redeveloped from other people. Robert Cialdini, for example, his work is quoted sort of a lot of it is based on Robert Cialdini from my understanding, but it's a different take, a different sort of coming at that from a different perspective. Now, the one big message that I have taken from reading this book is about positive reframing. So, well, what do I mean by positive reframing? So let's take one simple example. So imagine you're given a time frame to complete something at work. Let's say your boss drops something on your desk today, says, can you have this done by Friday? And Friday's like 2 days away. Now, that might be a challenging time frame. It might be tight, it might be difficult. And if you if you look at it from the frame of it being challenging and difficult, that is obviously a very negative framework. Yeah. So the idea here is to change your thinking, change how you think about things. So rather than saying, well, Friday, well, that's a difficult thing for me to do, try and view it from viewing that from a different perspective. Might be something like, wow, if I can get this done by Friday, that's a great opportunity for me to showcase my efficiency. Okay. Or, wow, if I get that done by Friday, I'll be well ahead of schedule of all the work I've got to do. Okay. So I'm thinking about reframing. Reframing in a positive way, I think, is a really, really, really good skill for me to practice, and possibly for lots of you guys who I don't know. I think negativity is perhaps the default setting in our minds. We're given tight time frames. We go, oh, that's challenging. No, it's an opportunity for you to demonstrate that you can work to tight time scales, work efficiently, and get things done. So positive reframing. Let's look at some other examples. I don't know. Imagine there's lots and lots of paperwork to fill out. Now, filling paperwork is boring, or it can be the opportunity for you to get started right away once you have completed the paperwork. Yeah. Maybe somebody says you have to do this. Maybe this is something that is mandatory. Okay. And mandatory, something you have to do. Usually I fight against. Someone says you have to do this. I go, why? I'm not sure I want to do it. Why do I have to do it? So I fight against it in that negative way. But if someone was to present that to me as, look, if you do this, this will equip you with the skills, knowledge, experience to get started with the new project. Or or another example, if you do this, this will equip you with some great life skills. Or another way for us to present that, if you do this, this will present you with some great skills to enhance your career progression. Yeah. So rather than saying something is mandatory, which for me and for lots of us invokes those negative emotions, positive framing of things, either from a perspective of someone giving you information, like giving you a deadline. Okay, you hear the deadline, but you reframe it positively in your mind. You hear the deadline, but you say, well, this is an opportunity for me to showcase how great, efficient, wonderful I am. Yeah, rather than being, oh God, I've got to work extra hours and work really hard for 2 days. Yeah, but also when you are giving information, when you are asking things of other people, make sure that you frame it in a way that's positive, but not just positive for you, positive for them. Think about them. Think about their needs. And if you're talking to individuals, get to know that individual. Try and understand what motivates that individual. And if it's, say, career progression, you can frame things in a way that motivates that person by talking about how this will help your career progression. Yeah. If this person is motivated by leaving early on Friday, and getting down the pub, present something to that person in the way that will help them to finish work early on Friday and get down the pub with their mates. Maybe they've got a football game they want to watch, but frame whatever it is in a way that is positive for them. This is not about you. This is about them. Yeah. Okay, so it's a great book. It's a really, really interesting sort of read. If you're a big reader of books, you perhaps won't find anything majorly new from reading this book, but you do get the same ideas from a different perspective. But yeah, you've got to read it just for the title. How to make people do what you want. Yeah, who doesn't want to be able to make other people do what they want? Yeah. You've got to read it for the title, if nothing else. Okay, get this book. Bye.